today I wanted to talk to you about micro and macro. Two things which are extremely important in all RTS games, real-time strategy. With Halo Wars Remastered and Halo Wars 2 arriving, I thought this would be the ideal time to let you guys know about it. Now, I'll start off with micro, and I'll tell you a bit about that. Micro is using your units efficiently without taking damage, or with taking as little damage as possible. Now, if you're playing Covenant, some of your units will have shields, and therefore a lot of the time you'll be able to take no real damage. As in, yes, your shields will be taking, but they will regenerate, and you'll take no actual health damage that won't regenerate. Now, if you're playing UNSC, obviously that's not always the case. You don't have shields. So what you'll have to do is, say you have multiple tanks, and you've got your tanks over here, and you've got your turret here. As your tanks start to get low health, say it's firing at one tank, so as it starts to get below half health, you want to move it back. As soon as it's out of range of the turret firing at it, the turret will now attack another tank that's in range. As soon as that happens, you want to bring your tank back, and basically you're getting maximum DPS. Obviously, having two tanks firing at a turret is better than only having one. So you want to get maximum DPS, which is damage per second. The other thing you can do is kite. Right now I'm kiting with Wolverines. As soon as the air comes in range, I move my Wolverines back. And basically what happens there is I'm going to take a little damage as possible because the air cannot keep up with the Wolverines. So they're trying to, catch up to the Wolverines to attack them, but I'm just too fast, and they're just constantly taking damage that whole time while they're trying to catch them. Obviously very efficient use of using Wolverines, and that's an advanced tactic of microing, which is kiting. Now you can kite with anything, doesn't have to be vehicles, you can do it with the infantry, but anything that's becoming low on health, try and draw it out of the battle, and then once the enemy is given up trying to attack that, bring it back in so it can continue to do damage. Now I'll talk to you about macro. Macro is everything else. It's base management, it's collecting resources around the map, it's building armies, and macro is something you want to do as quickly as possible. Now, one of the best and most important times, wouldn't say it's the best time, but it's definitely the most important time to macro, is to always remember to macro while fighting. Basically, what you want is you want to end the fight, regardless if you win or lose it. You want to build your army while you're fighting, while you're trying to micro. Find time to build an army, and so your army dies, and then you have another army to re-engage, especially versus weaker players where they don't understand the importance of that. And a lot of it's not just the new players that don't realize this. There's a lot of people who consider themselves very good but obviously aren't at that next level because they don't realize how important macro is. Basically, you could lose a fight. You've been macroing since then. So yes, you lost that first fight, but then they come forward to kill your base, and all of a sudden you have all these reinforcements to overwhelm that small force that was left over. Now, flip sides, I've just won the battle. I'm attacking his base, but he's forgot to macro, so I have a small force. Now he's trying to bring men out to try and overwhelm that small force, but lucky for me, I've been smart, I've been macroing, I've been continuing to build while I've been microing, and now not only do I have that small force, I have all my reinforcements coming and just totally overwhelm them and destroy their base convincingly. Now you can see why macroing is so important. And you basically want to do it as quickly as possible all through the game. Just like with micro, you want to be very efficient basically a lot of games are won not only with your strategy and what you build, but also your use of time. Obviously, you can't manage everything at the same time, but you need that perfect balance between the two, and that's when a good micro and macro player come into play. For new players, usually macro is the thing you want to concentrate on, because if you're not macroing properly, it doesn't matter how good your micro is, you're gonna fall behind. Once you have your macro perfected, you know where all the resources are, you're collecting them, you know when to expand, you're doing everything perfectly, you're building your base as you should, you're getting your upgrades as you should, then micro is the thing which will just make you into that excellent top tier player, and that's something you need to do. So now you guys know the the basics of micro and macro. Now you can start to practice those things. Obviously, micro is something where you just want to try and make your units take less damage as possible, and macro you just want to manage your base, move your units, everything like that, and build units as quickly as possible. So practice that up and you should become a better player. I'll catch you guys in the next video.